the first thing you tell them is,
You should have brought cake.
I hate donuts. Or maybe you forgot toothpaste. You brought donuts and you only brought donuts and...
So, continuing with our series on temperaments, today we're dealing with temperaments and communication. I hope you tapped the link in last week's video to find out what your temperament is, because going forward, you have to know what your temperament is.
Yeah.
Number one, I think we'll go with us.
Yep. But if you're new here, welcome. And please be sure to subscribe right there, so that we can be able to make more videos and
you'll be the first to know.
Yeah.
So, our temperaments. I am melancholic, choleric, just a reminder, and
phleg, male.
Yes. So, one thing about us.
Male phleg.
You're male phleg. You know male phleg.
Phleg male.
You're phleg male, baby. So, one thing about us, me in particular, when I communicate, I want what I have communicated to be acted on immediately. Not tomorrow, not 2 hours from now. I want it done immediately. But lo and behold, I am married to a phlegmatic who will do things at his own time, and he will communicate depending on the degree of information that he wants to give for the sake of peace. Right?
I'm improving.
You're improving. So that's the thing with our dynamic, because
but also I think the other thing with you is that you might expect, but you don't communicate your expectation.
True.
So you say you want it immediately, but you don't say that you want it immediately. You say maybe I want a cup of tea, for example.
Yeah.
But
I assume that you know
that,
I want it immediately.
Yeah, and then you get frustrated because the cup of tea either doesn't come or
it's taking forever.
It comes tomorrow.
And then what I usually do in such cases, I'll just get up. Of course, I'm already feeling a certain way. I just get up and fix the cup of tea myself.
Yeah.
But I'm already feeling frustrated.
Yeah.
So that's one thing to note about people of my temperament.
Yes.
And then people of his temperament, I'm going to just introduce it, baby, and then you talk about it. Because they love peace.
Yes.
Sometimes even when something is wrong, they're not going to tell you for the sake of peace, because they know that once I share this, then our peaceful balance is lost. We're now going to be at odds. So let's just keep the peace and we keep quiet. Like there'll be times when my husband is upset about something, and I can clearly, baby, we have been married almost 6 years. I can clearly see that you are upset about something. Then I'll ask, babe, how are you? Fine. Is anything wrong? No.
Yeah. But could it be just a male, like men's kind of thing? Because sometimes you might...
No, we can't blame this on gender, babe.
Okay. I mean, sometimes it's you want to maybe just talk about it, but not at that point, because you're not sure whether you'll be criticized or...
So instead of pretending that nothing is wrong, why don't you say, you know what, babe, I need a minute. Let's not talk about this.
Like a day or 2 days.
We're going to wait that long. And that's another thing about melancholic cholerics. When something is wrong, want to handle it there and then. Why are we waiting for tomorrow? Yeah, we handle it there and then.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. Usually, we just want to, like, I may tell you what you're doing is not right or not, and if I do, like, I've taken, like, I've put in an effort to actually tell you what's not right, or just where my mind is at, and I may not say it again. That's the personality. I may not say it again, and usually
because you think.
Yeah.
You assume that this person still remembers, it's top on their list.
Yeah, but also maybe they're arrogant enough not to take on that advice. So what happens is it catches up with you. No, not you.
Okay.
But I'm speaking generally.
Okay.
Yeah, so it catches up with you when it does. Yeah.
And then I think this one we'll just touch on, but in our relationship, obviously, there's no sanguine here. Okay, we have sanguine moments, but they are few and far between. But for couples,
just one of us is funny.
yeah. So for couples where there's a sanguine, what we have noticed, we have friends who are sanguine and are married. With sanguines, you'll find that sometimes they leave out details. Like they come in the excitement, babe, I saw this deal. We have to get it. But when you get down and ask them, who is the broker? Who is the person? Like you might find they haven't gotten those details. For them, the excitement just, let's go. Where's the party? Right?
Yeah. And in terms of even communication, you might find that the sanguine might really frustrate the melancholic. And mainly because
Sorry.
say I say I'm melancholic, you're sanguine. I come to you and tell you, hey, you hurt me yesterday. I don't understand why you could just walk past me in the shopping mall and say, hey, catch this soda, and throw it. I didn't like that. And then usually, because the sanguine people are different, you're like, oh, what's wrong with that? Like
you're my birthday.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? And sometimes that just hurts
the melancholic.
The more. So I guess since we're talking about communication, it's important to gauge,
to know who you are
be
communicating
sensitive.
to.
Yeah, be sensitive to your person, your partner. Are they the kind that take criticism very seriously? Are they the ones that don't like criticism? Are they the ones that want to hear everything, feedback? Because there are those people who, like now, people like us, how was it? They love feedback, tell
over
me.
and over again.
Yeah. Are you sure? Did I dress well? Or, did I say the right things or something? Yeah. So
I like that you say that. Another thing about sanguines is they like to be praised. Like they draw a lot of their confidence from people's approval. Like someone just saying, hey, you guy, you're funny. Or, hey, you guy, today you're dressing sharp. Like they want those comments. And something that you touched on is about criticism. My temperament is more prone to criticizing. It's easy for us to notice what is not going right and ignore what is going well. So 9 out of 10 will be going well, but I will concentrate on the 1 out of 10. Like, why isn't this working out? And that can be very frustrating for the people that we're in relationships with, because it feels like you don't appreciate. You're always complaining.
And the other flip side is that you don't like to be criticized.
Yeah.
You don't like because you imagine you're always right.
We're perfect.
So now the communication there has to be very strategic, because if you're melancholic and you know that you really criticize, and the person who is sanguine is probably say they love words of affirmation. Usually there are people that love affirmations. They can't go to the shop, buy 3 donuts just for you, and maybe bring chocolate, and then the first thing you tell them is,
you should have brought cake.
I hate donuts. or maybe you forgot toothpaste. You brought donuts, and you only brought donuts and chocolate, and you don't realize that actually they bought that chocolate for you. And so that's communication is very key in this area.
So I think this also shows us that it's important for us to know what our partner's temperaments or personalities are, because it informs how we communicate with them. Sometimes the way we communicate feels like it is right, but it is right to us. But you have to put into consideration the person that is receiving, the recipient. How are they getting your message? Is your message arriving the way, like if it left to red here, is it still red when it arrives the other side, or it has turned and it's now blue? And it's also a point for us to extend grace to one another.
Yes.
You find this person criticizing and it's frustrating, but just put it in your head knowing that, you know what, this is their default. And when they come down from 100 and they're now back to 0, it's a time for you to communicate and say, you know what, I feel this and this way when you're always criticizing me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the cholerics are quite similar to the to the melancholics when it comes to communication.
Yeah.
But the only challenge with the cholerics is that they don't sieve the stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they don't sieve the thing.
Ooh.
So if your husband is putting on, you know, dressed like me, and then the first thing you say is, couldn't you find another shirt to wear?
Yeah. Not filter.
Or you can say, no, just go and get another shirt. Just go get another shirt. This one's not good. Now, that it has nothing to do with them being bad, but just their communication is like that.
It's
like
blunt. They are blunt.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
now, if probably you are now, that's one thing I learned with my wife. So now, knowing that she has choleric tendencies, it's easier for me to tell her, no, I don't like that lipstick.
And I will take it.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's okay.
But if she tells me that haircut, I don't like it, she'll say, I mean, it will be a problem for
crushed.
me. So it's a science and an art which you have to
master.
You have to master it. Yeah.
Yeah. As we wrap up, it's important that we remind you that these things are not cast in stone. Just because you're choleric, melancholic, whatever, it doesn't mean that you cannot change. Doesn't mean that you cannot improve.
Yes.
So know what your weaknesses are. Know what your strengths are, and magnify those, maximize those, and then know what your weaknesses are and start to work on them. But even while we improve, it's important that we extend grace to one another.
Yeah. And let me just add this. It's not too late. If you're in a relationship that's struggling with communication, the most important thing that you need to thank God for is that you're still together. And communication is let's call it a channel, or it's a platform.
It's not a destination.
What's the best word? It's like
it's a means.
Let's say it's like that blood. It's like blood that flows through. It's the lubrication of any relationship. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's something that can be dealt with.
Yeah.
You can take out bad lubricant and put it fresh lubricant.
Yes.
And you can start to work on the relationship and try to understand yourselves. There's another test I did sometime during lockdown, and I discovered so much about myself. I shared it with my wife. Maybe we'll talk about it sometime in the future.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show that we are all unique, and that's why when it brings out that scripture which says that I know the number of hairs on your head.
Yeah.
That's just how unique you are as a human being.
Yeah.
You'll find this choleric is different from that choleric. You find that the other melancholic is different from the other melancholic. And
so you have to know your person personally.
Yeah, you have to know your person personally. And you might find that your husband is melancholic, but he's a nice person. Yeah. He's
an improved melancholic.
Yeah,
Sometimes you find that life has taught you these things, and you find that your weaknesses have been panel beaten.
You're a perfectionist, but
you know how to
you're
extend
open
grace.
And so I like what you said, that it's don't label people that he's sanguine, because
that's how he is.
The truth is, sanguines, according to theory, are really unreliable people. They'll tell you, hey, let's meet at Java's tomorrow 10 a.m. You're there at 10 a.m. but
like, I'm sorry, man, something came up.
Or they will say, hey, I'll be there too. Then eventually you have to cancel the meeting. So,
but then you'll also find sanguines that are true to their word.
Yes. Yeah. And the same for cholerics. There are some cholerics who are just so unbelievably difficult to deal with. But everybody has a good side.
Yeah.
So, like you said, we have to try and work on that good stuff.
Yeah. That's it from us today. Let us know what was your favorite part of this. What did you learn from this conversation? Were there many light bulb moments? Do you know your temperament? Do you feel attacked?
We just scratched the topic a little.
Yeah, we just scratched a bit. These are just conversation starters between couples. So have these conversations. Find out, like if you found out last week what your temperaments are, now sit down and say, by the way, this is why you communicate like this, or this is why I feel like this when you communicate to me. And it will help your relationship grow. Once you understand one another, it's easy for you to understand why you react the way that you do, why you do things the way that you do.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.
Yeah. Thank you for watching and see you next time.
Bye.